Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. A warm welcome to our webinar, Maximizing Impact, Best Practices and Future Directions in Monitoring and Evaluation in K-12 Education. I am Javeria, Manager School Evaluation at Beaconhouse Group. Today, it's my pleasure to moderate this panel of esteemed educators and leaders. Let me introduce you to the panelists. We have Mrs. Fareeha Ahmad, Director, Education Development, Beaconhouse Group. We have Mr. Khawaja Haider Latif, Director, North Region, Beaconhouse Group. We have Mrs. Afshan Khalid, Director, School Evaluation at Beaconhouse Group. And we have Mr. Shehryar Aslam, School Head, Mansehra Campus, Beaconhouse. A little information about the session. The session is about maximizing impact. Today, we are going to talk about monitoring and evaluation, the practices, the driving forces, the frameworks, the tools that are going to promote equity, informing better decision making, enhance accountability. This is being done for student success and to bring greater outcomes for students. My first question would be to you, Mrs. Ahmed. Let us begin with you. So, from a systems and policy leadership perspective, what core practices consistently distinguish high-performing schools during evaluations, and how do these traits contribute to sustainable development in academic excellence? Over to you.
Perspective. This is the best. This is the best thing, if your self-review findings match with the external evaluation findings. That's the best thing that the school has done. And the third thing I feel is that self-review in these schools is an ongoing thing. It does not stop. It doesn't take place at the end of the year. It happens continuously. It's an ongoing thing. And so they try to make things better, improve things regularly. It's not just at the end of the year they decide where things have gone right or wrong. And the fourth and the most important thing is how they approach professional development. So professional development in these schools go beyond just workshops, courses, programs, certifications. Instead, these schools strike a good balance between formal and informal training events. I'm sure you all know research consistently shows that while formal training has its place, the real impact often comes from informal PD. This is where teachers learn directly from each other, right in their own classrooms. This context-embedded learning is highly effective, and I'm sure most of you must have read Joyce and Charles' research, which talks about the impact of training on different types of trainings. And this context-embedded learning in informal training helps teachers improve. And to give you an example, co-teaching, mentoring, collaborative lesson planning, lesson study, action research, these are some of the forms of informal professional developments. And I think these are some of the key characteristics that differentiate high-performing schools from the rest of the schools, especially in the Beaconhouse context. Thank you, Javeria.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Ahmed. It was such an interesting insight into the schools from your perspective. And yes, it is so important that the school keep on doing self-review, regular self-review, and ensure that they're collaborating in all the directions to ensure that, they sustain the practices, not only during the evaluation, but after many years after the evaluation. From moving on to Mr. Haider. So, Mr. Haider, you're coming from a diverse background, from finance, energy, and now to education. So, we'll take benefit from your experience, and we want to know how we can reimagine evaluation transformation, not within just schools, but across the society, and how and what ways can we learn from other, industries that you have been part of and promote sustainability, accountability, and innovation in the education sector.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Javeria, first of all, thank you very much for making me a part of this elite panel. I'm surrounded by all the educationists. I don't call myself an educationist. I might be an executionist, but not an educationist. So coming back to your question, I think in my whole professional career, I've come to realize that no matter the field, evaluations are only as powerful as what we do with them. And in education, I think there's a huge opportunity to reimagine evaluations as a tool, not just to improve schools, but to spark broader societal change. One thing we can borrow from other industries, how seriously they take responsibility in finance or energy. For example, performance is continuously tracked with dashboards. There's clarity, transparency, and a shared understanding of what success looks like. However, in schools, we tend to focus a lot on test scores. But what if we also track things like student well-being, teacher growth, innovation in the classroom, or how schools are building future-ready skills? Because everything starts from the school. Everything. The product that comes out of the school are potential engineers, doctors, scientists, etc., etc., and list goes on and on and on. Another big area, I believe, is sustainability. In the energy sector, long-term thinking is baked into every decision. How will this affect future generations? Education needs that mindset too, let me tell you. Are we preparing students to adapt, think critically, and solve real-world problems? Evaluations should help us answer those questions, not just whether a child meets the expectation of the current level or to check his or her readiness for the next level. And then again, there's innovation. Coming back to in tech and finance, failure isn't a bad word. It's part of the learning process. But in education, we're sometimes too risk averse. I'd love to see evaluation systems that actually encourage schools to try new things, reflect on what worked, and share what didn't, because that's how real progress happens. To me, if we can make school evaluations more holistic, future-focused, and connected to real-world outcomes, we're not just improving education, we're shaping the kind of society we want to live in. Thank you.
Thank you, Haider. Mr. Haider, I think it is from your experience and from what you have learned over the years, and now you're applying it in our system. I think it is safe to say that we are moving towards dashboards, we are moving towards tracking teacher progress, student progress, and I think this rapid mapping would actually help us in making the school better for future.
Yes, we are.
Ready.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And I think Beaconhouse is the pioneer in that. We are moving towards that. And but again, I said schools are very sensitive places.
Yeah.
You see, generations are made.
True.
Generations come out of this the school.
Yeah.
So we have to ensure that schools are fully equipped to make and create those kinds of generations that what we want in our country, and those obviously to face the world also.
Indeed. Thank you, sir. Carrying on from this conversation, we will be moving to Ms. Afshan. Ms. Afshan, you with your diverse experience in the diverse context, you have led evaluations from Kuala Lumpur to Karachi, national, international, major cities, smaller cities, different contexts. So how do you ensure that the evaluation process do not only hold school accountable, but also empowers them to own their development journey?
Thank you, Javeria. Aslam alaikum and greetings from Lahore, Pakistan, everybody. That's a great question, by the way. So let me ask you to pause and imagine it's you being evaluated and not your school. So how would you want to be seen? Would you want someone to come in with a checklist, tick a few boxes and walk away? Or would you rather they sat with you, heard your journey, understood your context, and then helped you find a way forward. So a way forward is essential, so nobody stops at a certain stage. So everybody continues to move till we live, for that matter. So over a period of time, we have moved from inspection to reflection. So today's conversation, I'll be referring a lot to that, because the future of M&E, monitoring and evaluation, is collaborative and not hierarchical. So at Beaconhouse, that's exactly the lens we actually wear, through which we approach evaluations. It's not about catching schools out, it's about calling them forward. So we have consciously evolved our evaluation process to prioritize growth over compliance. So the core of our approach lies in building partnerships and building bridges with schools, rather than conducting evaluations as external visits and inspections. So inspection is a word that, it's just a no-no in our field of work. So we operationalize this by embedding, a three-phase process: a pre-visit briefing where we put faces to names, we connect with the school leadership teams. And then on-site is all about co-reflection and a continuous professional dialogue. And then post-visit is action planning and how to find a way forward for continuous improvement, right? So, so these are not just procedural steps, these are trust building, for that matter, mechanisms. We don't assess schools as such, we try to be good listeners. More importantly, we ask them to tell their story, what they have been proud of, where they are stuck, what is it that they are trying to shift or lift. So, and that's what all the self-review is about, which Mrs. Ahmad also referred to. Self-review actually anchors everything. Growth doesn't happen under fear. It happens when you have the confidence and trust that people are there to support you, right? So I would like to mention that one of the most effective practices has been triangulating classroom observations data with student performance trends and teacher reflection logs and teacher effectiveness framework. So the entire evidence that is gathered, triangulated, becomes the basis of a professional dialogue, which is rooted in data, but anchored in real classroom narratives. They are the entire beauty of evaluations, or the backbone of evaluations. It really, when we do this, it empowers schools to take ownership of their improvement journey. We have found that wherever leadership teams are personally involved in co-analyzing their own data, in reflecting on their own practices, the process becomes transformational rather than transactional. Additionally, when we started integrating stakeholder voice into our evaluation framework, that's been pivotal. It not only sharpens the lens through which we assess learning or the impact of teaching, but it also ensures
sorry about this.
What matters to students, belonging, agency, clarity of purpose, so that everything is not lost in an adult-driven metrics. We were trained as evaluators to remember child is heart of the matter, and that's the backbone of our training for all evaluators, that put the child in the center. What is it that is happening for the students in school? And finally, I would also like to briefly mention that after the on-site phase, we don't just hand over a report. We co-construct SMART goals with the school leaders through, what is emerging, what are our findings, what do you feel about it? It's all through continuous professional dialogue. And then finally, a set of recommendations. So it's more to do with the capacity building cycle, because that is where feedback is iterative, continuous, and collaborative. Thank you.
you so much, Ms. Afshan. It is safe to say that SEU is following a developmental approach, and we do not go into the school and start inspecting them or judging them. We sit with them, we listen to their stories, we understand their challenges, and then we move on with them to bring improvement. Moving on to the next panelist, Mr. Shehryar. So, Mr. Shehryar, if we talk about your experience, you're a school head. You're a school head in a small city in one of the provinces of Pakistan. You have led your campus through transformative journey of improvement. So, how do you prepare your team for external evaluations? And more importantly, how do you sustain the improvement post-evaluation? Because, you get a report and then it's all well, but then, you have to sustain the improvement. So what is your experience and how do you do that? Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Javeria. So preparing a team for evaluation is most effective when evaluations and self-reviews are embedded in the school culture rather than seen as isolated events. At our campus, we have nurtured a culture where continuous improvement is the norm, and the staff understands that evaluations are part of an ongoing journey, not a destination. Regular self-reviews are conducted throughout the academic year using structured tools and reflection practices that help us monitor progress and address gaps in real time. The senior leadership team plays a very important role in this process. They set the strategic directions, model reflective leadership, and support middle leaders in embedding evaluative thinking into their day-to-day work. The SLT also ensures that efforts across departments remains cohesive and aligned with their broader version of the school. In addition, we actively engage with feedback from all our stakeholders, like our teachers, our students, and parents, through surveys, different forms, and informal conversation. This feedback basically becomes a very valuable input for our school improvement planning. After an external evaluation, we always analyze the outcomes collaboratively, like Ma'am Afshan also discussed the recommendations given to the school. We always analyze the outcomes collaboratively and set some smart targets that directly responds to the feedback. The post-evaluation phase is where the real work actually begins, as we strategically align our PD plans and classroom practices with these targets to ensure that improvements are not only sustained, but continuously evolving. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shehryar. It is not only the process that stops when you get a report, whether it's a report that shows that your school has improved or a report that shows that your school still requires a lot of improvement. It is a day-to-day and ongoing process, as you have rightly
I would like to
mentioned.
say one more thing.
Yes, sir.
A leader should trust his team as well. You should show the trust in your team. Then you can lead through evaluations and monitoring processes.
So that's the most beautiful thing that you have said as a school leader. That's the beauty of it. Again, moving on to Mr. Haider. So, sir, as a regional leader responsible for overseeing numerous schools in your region, so how and you have been continuously receiving evaluation reports. So how have those insights from the evaluation reports helped shape your strategic direction at your regional level? And would you be so kind to share some specific example how it has helped you driven change?
Can you repeat the question, please? I didn't get it.
Sir, as you know that you keep on receiving the reports from evaluation unit. So how has insights or how has those reports helped you in making changes, strategic decisions, bringing improvements in schools in your region?
It's a powerful question, Javeria.
You are a powerful person and a powerful role.
And one I think about a lot in my role. You see, when you're working with a large and diverse group of schools, the challenge isn't just about raising academic results. It's about making sure we're growing in the right direction with the shared values guiding us. I generally believe evaluation can be a unifying force, but only if we expand our lens beyond just academic metrics. I agree that student achievement matters, but so does how we treat each other, how inclusive our classrooms are, how aware our students are of the world around them, and how prepared they are to be thoughtful and responsible citizens. We've started weaving these values like inclusion, environmental consciousness, peace building into the evaluation conversations. But it's not always easy to measure these things in the traditional sense, but we can look at how schools are embedding them in daily routines, classroom discussions, co-curricular activities, and the way they resolve conflict or engage with their communities. Balancing these metrics with mission means acknowledging that numbers alone don't tell the full story. We need qualitative insights too, students' voice, teachers' reflection, community engagement. These help us understand the real culture of a school. What helped us is using evaluation as a mirror, not just a scoreboard. It helps schools reflect not just on how well they're doing, but on why they're doing what they do and whether their daily practices align with the bigger values we all stand for. So when schools see evaluation as a way to reaffirm their purpose, not just meet benchmarks, it starts to unify them around a shared mission. And that's when real change happens, Javeria.
Thank you, sir, for your answer. And I agree with you that, it's not something, and keeping your role and keeping it in mind that, you have such a large audience under you, such a large region under you. And, it's that the change is not very sporadic. This change is not just, if you think about it today, you'll get it tomorrow. It is slowly, it has to be built. And of course, all of these insights that are coming from the evaluation reports needs to be studied and then, needs to be implemented in your school. Again, every school has a different context. So it has to be a very gradual change.
Yeah, so beauty of the whole process is that our schools, they take these evaluations in a very, very positive manner. It is a change or evolve or improvise towards better.
Yeah.
So it's yet to find a school head or a school who resist to these changes. Yeah.
That's good to hear that we are welcomed where we go.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You're on mute, Javeria.
Can you hear me? Yes. So my next question is to Mrs. Ahmad. Mrs. Ahmad, as you are a recipient of evaluation reports, how do you ensure that the insights from the evaluation reports are meaningfully helping you design and deliver the professional development programs for teachers across such a diverse network that Beaconhouse has?
Thank you, Javeria. It's again a very loaded question because you're right. When we see one of the key responsibilities of the education department is to design professional development programs for school leaders and teachers. And again, we just don't do a guesswork of what we want to, what kind of training to design. We base it on data, and the data that we use is mostly from the school evaluation reports, also from the surveys that we conduct and from the feedback we receive from schools regarding the implementation of various curricula or well-being programs or PD programs, professional development programs. So what we do is we collect all the data and then we analyze it. That our teams sit together, we analyze, we see what is consistently low or requires support, and then we identify that area and design training, and that is conducted across the system. And not just that, we also look at the reports of individual schools. We have these cluster support people in our professional development school improvement teams, both at in the education department and education ops. And what we do is these cluster support people, they after a school has received the school evaluation report, they connect with them and to find out what are their strengths that have been what are the strengths that have been identified by the school evaluation team, as well as areas for development. They together come up with an action plan, and the professional development included in the action plans is then designed and conducted either by themselves or by people in the other head office departments. For example, the curriculum team members or well-being team members, they then go into schools to support them. And the action plans are carefully monitored by the school, because in the end, as Khawaja said, the responsibility is of the school head to improve the school. So that's how it's done. And in addition to that, we also at the head office level ensure that all professional development that is conducted in school, its impact is evaluated. So we're using the Guskey's model to find out the impact of professional development on students' learning and well-being. And based on the feedback we receive, then we further tweak our professional development programs, trainings, and then relaunch them. And like I said earlier, all our formal professional development is supplemented by informal professional development that is conducted in the schools. So that's how we manage professional development in light of the school evaluation reports, Javeria.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Ahmad. That's really good hearing that when we go to schools and we bring out little bits of information and pieces, those little pieces are part of the puzzle that actually make the whole picture for Beaconhouse. And it's something that helps in making strategy and making decisions for the whole network. Moving on to Ms. Afshan. Ms. Afshan, in your experience, given your experience with gold standard and local realities, and how the evaluation systems work across the world, you have had that experience and exposure. So how can evaluation systems act as bridges, bring equity, empathy, and excellence together in this diverse school network?
A very interesting perspective, I must say. So, and I'll try to answer this question as best as I can. I believe most powerful evaluation systems are not designed to judge diversity, but to work with it, to act as bridges to connect equity, empathy, and excellence in a meaningful, actionable way. So the reality is that one-size-fits-all frameworks often leave most vulnerable schools behind. And that's why effective evaluation in any form must begin with empathy. We cannot expect the same outputs from a rural school or a school in a very small city, in a far-flung city, as we would from an urban, well-resourced school. But the most important thing is that we can expect growth, safety, inclusion, and responsiveness in both, no matter what the context is. And that should be the basis of moving forward. For example, our evaluations of early years provision is based on the way the curriculum is taught. It's not rote assessment or numeric targets. Instead, it looks at, the evaluations look at how well the child's emotional, social, linguistic development is being nurtured. through play, exploration, and secure relationships for that matter, smooth transitions. So that's a model rooted in empathy and deeply aligned with developmental equity. And then if you think of universities, the other end of the spectrum, they are also evolving now in how they define and evaluate success. I can give you a couple of examples. For example, University of British Columbia program evaluation integrates indigenous ways of knowing how students co-design courses and what are the community-based feedback mechanisms that the students use or develop for their projects. This approach recognizes the cultural identity and marginalized voices, not just the academic outputs. Similarly, at Delft University of Technology in Netherlands, student well-being is now a core metric in program evaluation, with mental health data being used alongside academic performance to refine the curriculum delivery. So that's extremely important. These are examples of equity-driven evaluation in action. At Beaconhouse also, we try to balance structure with empathy through our evaluation frameworks. Standardization tools allow for consistency, uniformity in certain areas, but we train our evaluators to read beyond the rubric, to understand the context, to spot the authentic impact and amplify the local stories of resilience. Mr. Shehryar Aslam, one of our panelists here, has one of those kind of stories to tell. So our calibration and moderation processes are built to guard against bias while still holding schools to high yet fair expectations. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Afshan, for this answer. And you have rightly referred to Mr. Shehryar. I was moving on towards him, and my question was similar to what you have been talking about. So without further ado, I'll move on to Mr. Shehryar. Mr. Shehryar, you are working as a school leader in a semi-urban context like Mansehra. So how do you ensure that, evaluation systems are sensitive to the needs of diverse learners, especially the SEND students? And maybe if you can share a couple of practices, inclusive practices, in a localized way that your school have been tracking the academic outcomes of those students.
Okay, thank you, Javeria. In a semi-urban settings like Mansehra, fostering inclusivity begins with a context-aware approach to evaluation. We have adapted our self-review tools to reflect the realities of our learner, factoring in language barriers, learning gaps, and unequal access to academic support. So this ensures that every student is genuinely understood, not just assessed. So for students with special educational needs, or we call them SEN, we have integrated differentiated benchmarks into our progress tracking system, allowing us to measure individual growth against personalized goals rather than one-size-fits-all standards. So this makes the evaluation process more meaningful and motivating for diverse learners. So our inclusive framework includes regular collaborations with parents, the shadow teachers, and the subject leads. And self-evaluation or self-review, as we call it across Beaconhouse School system, now reflects a 360-degree view of students' development, including social, emotional, and behavior indicators. And also by ensuring our progress tracker reflects our academic challenges and strength, we have created a more realistic picture of students' achievement. This has helped us target interventions effectively and raise performance across the board. And the introduction of inclusive evaluation methods, all voices are considered and feedback is used constructively, and has had a transformative effect on our school culture, especially in terms of teachers' attitudes and professional practice. Evaluations are no longer seen in our school as top-down assessments, but as a collaborative process that informed and enhanced classroom teaching. As a result, teachers have developed a stronger sense of agency and responsibility in addressing the diverse learning needs of their students. And our school-wide data also shows a steady improvement in engagement and academic outcome, especially for students who previously struggled silently. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shehryar. This was one of your data-driven methodology that you have used in your school, and it has led to a great success in the as a result of your resulting in your improved student outcomes. And I think this is one of the thing that is emerging again and again during this session: sensitivity, openness, collaboration, a transformation, a self-review. These are all the things, if we are looking at all the people that are sitting here from all the different perspectives, school leader, policymaker, evaluator, regional director. So everyone is actually talking about the same thing from different perspectives. So that is something that is very important to understand, that, though we are all in different roles, but we're all doing the same thing for the same purpose.
Same
Moving on
purpose, yes.
to Mrs. Ahmad. Mrs. Ahmad, as you know that, Beaconhouse is one of the largest school networks, world's largest school network. So how do you see evaluation evolving in the future, especially in the context of that, world is moving towards AI integration and then, use of digital tools. So how do you see Beaconhouse moving along with that?
Javeria, I firmly believe in leveraging technology and AI to transform evaluation from a static one-time snapshot to an ongoing dynamic process that continuously adapts to the needs of both the teachers, students, and the students. Evaluation is, I think, I can see it with the introduction of AI and technology is something that we've been using for a long time. Evaluation is shifting from being a rear view mirror, showing us only where we've been, to becoming a real time GPS for education, guiding us towards better outcomes. So, as you know, a GPS system tells you where to go and how to reach that place, whereas a rear view mirror only shows you where you've already been. So, I think the whole definition or the purpose of evaluation would evolve with the introduction of AI once we start leveraging AI. At the globally there is, and I think not just in Beaconhouse, globally there's a need to move towards systems that provide continuous feedback. We can't wait for the school evaluation team to come and give us the let us know where we are and share their findings with us. This needs to be an ongoing thing. Yes, the perspective of an external evaluator is extremely important. The self-review is ongoing already, but an external evaluation, I see it, or I foresee it as an ongoing thing as well. Evaluation team can access real-time insights through business intelligence dashboards. At Beaconhouse, I'm sure you're aware that we have BI dashboards for external examinations, O, A-level matriculation, and IB, which provide very good and valuable data. But with AI, just imagine how these can enhance the whole thing by we'll be able to predict future trends, pinpoint topics and skills that need extra attention. This empowers both the teachers as well as the school teachers as the school heads in a very proactive manner. We also have an SIP module, School Improvement Planning module. I'm sure you're aware of that. It's also online, that supports schools in their annual planning. Let's imagine a situation where AI is integrated into these plans. So these can become live documents, and the SEU doesn't have to come into the school to see how things are happening on that particular day, or how the SIP has been implemented. All they need to do is go to the BI dashboard, ask the analytics to do a summary for them, come up with a report, and the AI can do the prediction and do other stuff that at the moment is not happening. So again, it's going to be a continuous process. Recently, we have piloted Iris Connect. It's a video recorded lesson observation and analysis platform in one of our schools. We'll be beginning the pilot from September or August this year. AI will be able to analyze the recording. So teachers will record their videos of classroom practice and they will upload them on the app. And the AI in the Iris Connect will do all the analysis and come up with the reports and findings in a very systematic manner, which can be reviewed by the teacher herself, by the school head, by the evaluation team. I think as a next step, evaluate the evaluation or school evaluation unit needs to consider something like that as well, because it's going to become more time as well as cost effective. It won't take time, you won't have to travel so much, and at a press of a button you'll be able to see. And again, just why should we only rely on AI? We'll be able to review and again re-review and replay the videos again to see what or how the lesson went. For students, gamified and engaging evaluations can be introduced. Children love games. So AI can create interactive activities such as reflection tools or mini quizzes that make evaluation more fun and empowering for students, helping them take ownership of their progress. I know there's a survey that you conduct every time you go into a school. So I think if it could be gamified, it'll become more interesting. And I firmly believe that by embracing AI for ongoing evaluation, we are building a system that is responsive, empowering, and every teacher can reach their full potential, because they won't have to wait for a 3-year return cycle, which we would love to get to. We won't have to wait for 3 years for the school evaluation team to come in and do the review. It will be a continuous thing, but an external, unbiased, objective input. So that's how I see AI and technology, Javeria.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Ahmed. That's very, very interesting. And it is, considering the fact that Beaconhouse is one of the largest networks in the world, we have confidently embraced AI in a very productive way to ensure that, our improvement does not stop. And we have ensured that, it's something very productive and something that makes us stand out. Though we are always standing out, but still it would make us stand out again in the world. In Pakistan, we definitely stand out. And I love the title that you have given us, the GPS. So I think we will be using it along the way. My next question is to Mr. Shehryar again. Mr. Shehryar, like Mrs. Ahmed has just talked about evaluation, integrating AI, SU not coming to school that often, maybe reducing some traveling, maybe generating frequent reports. So, and evaluation is a word that every person dreads in any capacity in the school, whether it's a parent, is a school head, is a director, teachers, students, everyone dreads. And, they think that we're coming for the judgment. So in your capacity as a school head, how do you see evaluation as a tool for growth and not a punitive one? And again, in your opinion, what tools, maybe digital tools or AI can play in making evaluations more meaningful at school level? And before we take your answer, just for the panelists and for the participants, as we started a bit late due to technical issues, we'll try to wrap up by 1:15. Over to you, sir.
Okay. Javeria, as a school head, I believe it is critical to ensure that evaluation is perceived not as a punitive measure, but as a tool for professional growth. Evaluation should be embedded in a culture uh, of learning and improvement. To achieve this, uh, we focus on collaborative analysis of evaluation findings without teaching teams. Instead of delivering one-side judgments, we sit together to reflect on the data, identify the areas of strength, and co-develop improvement plans. This joint approach fosters trust and makes teachers feel supported rather than judged. I encourage teachers to view evaluations as a mirror, a means to see their own practice more clearly, rather than a magnifying glass that only highlights the flaws. The success of this approach relies on transparency, open dialogue, and shared ownership of the process. When teachers are involved meaningfully and see evaluation as a way to learn and grow, it naturally shifts the mindsets from fear to empowerment. And your second part of your question was about the digital tools. Digital tools and AI have the potential to transform school evaluations by making them more timely, data informed, and actionable. One powerful example I can give you is the use of AI driven dashboards that track student progress, teacher performance, and the outcome of the classroom walkthroughs. These tools can collect and analyze large amount of data in real time, offering school leaders and teachers instant insight into learning gaps, teaching strategies, and classroom dynamics. And this allows for quicker, evidence based discussions, targeted interventions, and more precise support for both students and teachers. In addition to monitoring system, digital platforms that facilitate peer reviews and school self-reviews can significantly enhance the evaluation process. These tools promote a culture of reflection and collaboration, encouraging teachers and school teams to assess their own practices and learn from one another. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for again referring to the point and focusing on the fact that the schools need to have that culture of self-review that should be so strong that they are already aware of what they are doing rather than uh, uh, relying on the outside and then getting scared because they don't know what their school is up to. So I think that is something that is very important, and with the help of AI and these dashboards, the school leaders, the teachers, everyone would be on track of everything, maybe fortnightly or monthly or however they would like to see, because dashboards allow you to customize the views that you want. So I think it would be very helpful for the schools, and it would help in their growth. Moving the
And
ball.
one more
Yes, sir.
thing, I just want to say, when you were asking the question, you said about the heads in the school, they are scared of SEUs and all that. We Mansehra campus always welcome SEU anytime. We are always ready.
So we're coming next week. I heard the weather is really good.
Yes. So please,
Thank you. Moving the ball.
Please
Javeria, your
unmute
mic.
yourself, Javeria.
Sir, moving the ball to your court again. Another powerful question coming your way. I hope you're ready. So, because you have a diverse network of schools, your role is very vast. So, how can you how do you think that evaluation can become a unifying force, helping schools not only improve academic outcomes but also embed values like inclusion, environmental responsibility, peace building into their everyday practice? And how do you balance metrics within mission with such a complex landscape that you have?
You're asking me?
Yes, sir. That's a good way to deflect the question,
Sure.
but we will still ask you again.
Acha, I thought that was pretty confidential, but I'm going to share it with you. It's done.
Thank you,
Uh,
sir.
uh, the evaluation findings have been one of our most valuable tools when it comes to making strategic decisions across the region. I'm talking about.
Yeah.
As someone overseeing a large number of schools, I don't see evaluation as just a formality or a checklist. It's really a chance to reflect, pause, and understand what's working and where we need to do better. When we see common themes emerging like gaps in lesson planning, low student engagement, or missed opportunities with digital tools, we try not to treat them as isolated issues. Instead, we look at the bigger picture and plan professional development or interventions at the regional level so we can support more schools in a meaningful way. A good example is what came up in one of our recent evaluation cycles. It turned out that libraries were not being used as effectively as they could be, and digital reading tools were not barely being tapped into. That prompted us to rethink our approach. We trained librarians, supported teachers, and worked on repositioning the library as a real resource of hub not just a room full of books. And sometimes the findings point to deeper structural needs. Maybe a school needs stronger leadership, more academic coordination, or even physical upgrades. That's when we step in with strategic support, whether it's adding leadership roles, assigning more staff, or improving the facilities. And it's an ongoing process. It is also worth mentioning that our regional and cluster offices usually operate in a support role. The evaluative lens that really comes from the school evaluation unit, which helps us identify both strengths and growth areas. So what's great is that when SEU highlights standout practices, things that are truly impactful, we make it a point to share those with other schools. It creates this really positive ripple effect where one school success can inspire change across the whole region. So in short, evaluation gives us a lot of direction. It helps us to stay focused on real improvement, not just in school level, but across the entire system.
Thank you so much, sir. And it's good to see that, one school, one evaluation report that brings improvement can actually be applied to other school and see if maybe another school has the same issue, and you can do some self-evaluation, and without SEU coming in on your own regional level, you can bring improvement, learning from the gaining the insights from the SEU's report. Moving on to Ms. Afshan. Ms. Afshan, when we talk about designing the systems, how can school evaluation systems be designed to measure what truly matters in this era, especially when it comes to empathy, resilience, responsible citizenship in students? And as someone, you are someone who is on the ground. So what is your biggest challenges that your evaluators face when they're conducting the visits?
Thank you for this question. It actually touches the core of what school evaluation should be about in this era. And especially in response to what Mrs. Ahmad was also sharing earlier, that AI is going to help us expedite and make the evaluations more agile and give us, impactful feedback on what all we are doing. So that would leave us more time to look into the softer side of things. So evaluation systems must expand then beyond traditional definitions of success. We must start asking, is the school cultivating character, not just content knowledge? Are students learning how to lead with compassion, thinking critically, and are they prepared to cope with setbacks? That's really important. Especially in today's, time and date. And I often, as an educator, think of the middle school years. That's really very close to my heart because it's a critical phase. It's when young adolescents begin grappling with their identity, emotional regulation, peer pressure, and yes, the hormonal roller coaster of puberty is also there. So this is exactly when resilience must be intentionally built in. Schools that excel here don't just, offer pastoral care. They embed socio-emotional learning across subjects through role plays, restorative practices, and spaces for honest dialogue. And Beaconhouse, again, has started this amazingly immense initiative of having counselors in schools where at least that those spaces for honest dialogue and support are being provided to students. So evaluating this would mean observing not just what is taught, but how it is received. Are students safe to express themselves? Are they comfortable to express themselves? Are they learning to resolve conflict, to be kind, to bounce back for that matter? So that's really important. At higher education level, institutions like Stanford University, the other day I was reading an article, they have begun assessing students not only on their academic performance, but also on their civic engagement and ethical reasoning. they use reflective portfolios and service learning modules to understand how students are applying values in real-world situations or contexts. So this actually sets a powerful precedent. Education systems must measure how well we are preparing citizens, not just scholars. Haider Saab just referred to that schools are the breeding places for citizens of tomorrow. And citizens who are well equipped for the global village that we are turning into. At Beaconhouse, one of the ways where we have started acting is through the PSHE curriculum and program, which is now also being evaluated for both breadth and depth of implementation. Are the students learning about empathy in theory in those classes, or do they practice it in community work, in their clubs, in their societies that they have, in peer mentorship, etc.? So are these values really becoming alive? So that's really important. And you asked me about challenges. So frankly speaking, one of the major challenges we face is the performance mode, where schools polish what's visible and, hide what's messy. So not always, but yeah, sometimes that does happen. And then it takes experience and emotional intelligence for evaluators to move past the surface level impressions. Another challenge is logistically, access to honest reflections, timely data, and availability of key stakeholders during the visits that we have. So yeah, but we've started. And there's a lot of hope for a lot of good work. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Afshan. These are, I agree with you. These are real challenges, especially in the changing times and in the new era of generative AI. Moving on to so this question is open to all the panelists. Anyone can go first. We were just talking about building culture, incorporating values in the students. So what does it take to build a school culture where evaluation is not embraced as just a compliance tool or an exercise, but it is a continuous reflective process that drives real improvement and brings professional growth and student success? Anyone can go first.
I'll go first, Javeria, if that's okay with everybody else. I feel there are three simple ways. One is that you need that, although Shehryar Saab has already said that there has been a cultural shift and the mindset of teachers and staff has changed from not seeing it as a deterministic but a developmental process evaluation. The second thing is to create a safe environment where teachers can talk about their challenges and their failures, their mistakes, because we learn from each other. And I think that school leaders need to be playing the role, should be there as role models, share their mistakes, share their failures, because we learn best from our failures. And the third thing is, and celebrate small wins. These are three things I think through which, because when you make an action plan, there will be different tasks or actions that are supposed to be done. So if we start celebrating those small wins, the evaluation will have a positive impact and improve the culture of the school.
Acha,
Thank you so much, Mrs. Ahmed. Yes, sir.
I totally agree with what Mrs. Ahmed says, and but I will take it a more elaborated way that we must approach evaluation as a growth opportunity, not a judgment.
Yeah.
It's not a judgment. It's an opportunity for the schools to grow. The true value of evaluation lies in how openly and constructively leaders engage with the findings. Instead of becoming defensive or viewing it as a checklist exercise, lean into the process. Reflect honestly. Involve your teams in reviewing the feedback and use it to inform your school improvement planning. Also, uh, let's not wait for the evaluation to happen to you. Let's not wait evaluation teams to come to you. Build a culture of internal review and self-audit. When schools take ownership of their development and see evaluation as a collaborative process, the changes that follow are not only more meaningful, but also more sustainable. In other words, treat evaluation as a mirror, not a microscope. It should help all of us see the bigger picture and guide us to next steps with more clarity and confidence.
I think I would take this forward, Mr. Haider, by saying that yes, treat evaluations as a gift, maybe as not a report or a report card, not as a report card, but as a beginning of a conversation. Yeah, so which should be ongoing. And from our, like my end as a head of school evaluation, so a good evaluation system they should not be just comparing schools to each other. They don't. They should help each school become a better version of itself. And that's the real culture that we should be building. So every school should become a better version of itself and not be compared with any other school. Yeah. So over to you, Shehryar Saab, if you have anything to say.
I think all of you have said what I want to say. So that's it. You have left nothing for me to say.
This has been one powerful conversation with the pillars of Beaconhouse. And it pains me to bring this conversation and this session to nearing to its end. We're almost at the end. This is just the last closing question. And again, any one of you can answer. So as you know, this year's theme is evaluation for better future, environmental sustainability, inclusion, and peace. So I would love to know your reflections, and I would love to close this session with your reflection. So how can evaluation contribute to a better future by addressing global challenges like, sustainability, inclusion, peace, in our schools and in our environment? So again, anyone can go.
Acha,
If you allow,
uh,
I want to answer.
oh,
Okay, yes, sir.
sure, please go
Yes,
ahead.
sir.
Then please go ahead. You started first.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, evaluation at its best shows what we truly value and help guide our future. So when we include important ideas like caring for the environment, inclusion, and peace in what we assess, we make it clear that these are key parts of a good education. Uh, Evaluation then becomes more than just collecting data, it helps create awareness and turn schools into places that build responsible and kind global citizens. This is how we connect learning to the world's most important needs. Uh, when done thoughtfully, evaluation can bring positive change by focusing on environmental knowledge, inclusive teaching, and the ways to solve conflict peacefully. It also helps us raise not just smart students, but caring and responsible ones. So, as a school head, I ensure that these values are not treated as add ons, but are embedded into lesson planning, co curricular activities, and school wide initiatives. So, evaluation becomes a reflection of life practice, not as Sir said, checklist. So we also use a student voice survey to evaluate how learners perceive their role in shaping a more inclusive and sustainable future. So this feedback is critical in reshaping teaching approaches and school culture. So ultimately, school-based evaluation must act, as I said before, as a mirror of our moral compass. As a school leaders, we are not just measuring academic success, we are nurturing the kind of citizens the world urgently needs, that is empathetic, ethical, and environmentally responsible. Over to you, sir.
Acha, thank you, Shehryar. Acha, for me, in these present times, this is a very, very crucial theme, Javeria.
Yeah.
First off, I think evaluation frameworks themselves need to evolve to include these important areas like
That's a valid point.
environmental sustainability, inclusion, and peace as core benchmarks. Since evaluation is always done against set standards, we have to develop and adopt clear criteria that reflects these values. And of course, we also have to be realistic. Right now, these themes are often implemented across schools. Some schools are more advanced, following frameworks like the SDGs closely, while others are just beginning their journeys. For example, many of our schools facing challenges like high teacher turnover still struggle with basic cross-curricular connections, which makes embedding these broader themes a real challenge. So while we can't accept overnight transformation or to be too far removed from the realities on the ground, we do need to keep pushing forward, steadily hustling towards these goals for making our objectives meet. Evaluation can help by evaluations, they help by recognizing where schools are in this journey and encouraging incremental progress rather than holding everyone to the same idea from day one. So in the end, it's going to be very long if I keep on. So in the end, evolving our evaluation frameworks to meaningfully include these themes will guide schools in embedding them more consistently and deeply and helping us all move towards a better future. Javeria.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
would you like me to go next, or Mrs. Ahmad, would you like to go next?
You go next, Afshan. I'm good.
Okay, I just have, I guess two sentences to say. It's, I guess it's one of a great question to close on, no pressure at all. Primarily, just saving the planet, healing divisions, and building world peace through school evaluations, by remembering that the goal is not to raise perfect students in perfect classrooms. It is to raise thoughtful, empathetic, action-ready citizens in a very imperfect world. So if we can laugh a little along the way, even better. So that's my two-bit on it. And over to you, Mrs. Ahmad.
Well, I agree with everything that Afshan, Dr. Khalid Saab and Shehryar Saab have mentioned. And if, like Khalid Saab said, if we embed or we incorporate these three things into our evaluation framework, I see it as a moral compass. Then evaluation will become a moral compass guiding schools to create learning spaces that nurture responsible, compassionate, global citizens, things that you've already said, the kind of people we need for a better and a more peaceful future. So it can become a moral compass, Javeria.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Ahmed. That's a very good note that we are closing this session on. Today has been a pivotal role for SCU, a pivotal day for SCU. It was the first ever international conference, and to have people like yourself, who's important in strategic decision making, Khawaja Saab, who's there leading a whole region, Mrs. Khalid, Ms. Afshan Khalid, leading school evaluation, Shehryar Saab leading a school, and the kind of discussion that we have been having, that shows that Beaconhouse is doing something so right, that we are on a right path, though we are all coming from different departments, different sectors, but we're still on track. And our goal is school improvement. Our goal is to make better citizens, produce better citizens. And our school goal is to ensure that, in whatever capacity that we are serving, we do something good for the next generation and for the future. I have a couple of key takeaways from your conversation that what I would like to share with everyone. The first is, again, my favorite one. Evaluations are the GPS for educational institutions. We'll keep it as a trophy for School Evaluation Unit. Then there is the self-review, remains the center for continuous school improvement. Then, last but not least, AI and technology will now have a role in future evaluations, and we are taking it in a very productive and positive way. And then we keep on saying we need to celebrate small wins, and we have to ensure that whatever that we are doing, in whichever capacity we are doing something better for the future generations. Thank you to the participants, panelists, for your experiences, for your information, for your time. And now, thank you so much for the participants for joining us today. Your reflections and your experiences have helped us understanding evaluation better, in a better way. And this was a very critical dialogue because, again, evaluation is something that people are scared, and it's something that is not seen in a very positive light. But your experiences has helped us in understanding that, evaluation can be seen in a positive way, and it can help us become our friend, and it can help us and guide us forward towards a better future. And thank you. Lead with insight, innovate, and purpose, and let's build a future that is deeply rooted in equity and care. Thank you so much. Signing off from here. Please take
Thank
care of
you. Take care.
yourself.
Take care.
Thank you.
It was a
Thank you
pleasure.
so much, everyone.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so very much. Take care.
Thank you, everyone, and take care. Khuda Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Thank you so much. नहीं मुझे नहीं आ रहा है इनका